Hi, my name is Yasmin Terehi, and this is Gateways to Awakening, where we host one-on-one conversations with leading experts in wellness and spirituality. Today's episode is about energy medicine and how to use your body's health to achieve optimum health and wellness. On today's episode, we'll be featuring our guest, Donna Eden. Donna is among the world's most joyous and most authoritative spokespersons for energy medicine. She's been able to clairvoyantly see the body's energies all her life, and her abilities as a healer are legendary. Her best-selling book, Energy Medicine, which I actually have in front of me and have read years ago, is the textbook in hundreds of healing classes. She has, with her husband David Feinstein, built the world's largest and most vibrant organization teaching the hands-on use of energy medicine. Their most recent book, The Energies of Love, which I also have, achieved bestseller status on the New York Times relationship list. David and Donna were honored by the Infinity Foundation as the first couple to receive its annual Spirit Award for their contribution to the evolution of consciousness and its impact on society. And you can learn more about their work at www.learnenergymedicine.com. I'm so excited to welcome our next guest, Donna Eden. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you are so welcome. I am really happy to be here.
Wonderful. And Donna, can you tell us what exactly is energy medicine on your terms?
Well, energy medicine uses energy as the medicine. So all of these natural energies that flow through us and around us, we can access those energies because energy already knows how to heal us. We just need to get in a flow with our own energies and literally know how to talk the language our body speaks, which is energy. And you can do so much for your body. You can do so much for your health. I myself healed myself of multiple sclerosis and asthma. And we teach a program where people learn how to heal themselves or to work on somebody else who might need it. And you can work with any kind of illness, anything. You will always make yourself better. And many times you will heal yourself all the way. So I think it is the most glorious, ingenious, natural healing program there is. And it's thrilling to be able to use your own energies that come off your hands and put them on you and shift your energy. And nobody will have to tell you whether it worked or not because your body gives you immediate feedback that, oh, I'm better now. I can breathe now, or I can move my leg, or I can, whatever it is. And I'm so convinced that our ancient ancestors used their own natural energies to heal themselves. And we are here today because our ancestors healed themselves. And now we've got it in our DNA. We all can heal ourselves. And so it is empowering. It is wonderful. I love teaching energy medicine.
Thank you so much, Donna, for that explanation. And in your book, Energy Medicine, you quote two folks in the medical field, Norm Shealy, MD, who's the founding president of the American Holistic Medical Association, who stated that energy medicine is the future of all medicine. And you also quoted Albert, I'm going to butcher this name, Albert Szent-Györgyi. He's the Nobel laureate in medicine. And he said, in every culture and in every medical tradition before ours, healing was accomplished by moving energy. And, we'll get into the hands-on healing approach later because I know that's a really big foundation for your work. But for the audience, I think the audience is really a mix of people who are either open to this path, maybe are skeptical, or people who are very much advanced, on the spiritual path. But I wonder if you could maybe share what the chakras are, what these energy centers are, really quickly before we dive in, and then also what meridians are, because I think a lot of people have heard those terms, but they don't necessarily know what they are.
Yes, chakras are spiraling wheels of energy that come off your spine and move to the front of your body. You can also work with them on the back of your body. But each chakra is like an energy station, and it has 7 layers on each chakra, and each layer gives you information about what the person has gone through in their life, and also because it pulls the energy from the meridians. You asked about the meridians. Let me go to the meridians, and I'll come back to the chakras. The meridians are like streamers of energy, just pathways that go through and feed the organs in your body. And meridians can get more energy off the chakras. And so they're very different. I work with 9 different energy systems, and they all feed each other, and they all are separate and have definite things that each energy system does. I think that we evolved with these energy systems to support us and help us through life. And so the chakras are electrical, they are chemical, they are energetic, they are psychological, they are spiritual, all of those things. And the meridians have all the acupuncture points on them. So if you've ever gone to an acupuncturist, you know meridians, because that streaming is opened up when an acupuncturist puts a needle on one of the points. But you can also work those points with your own hands, and then they're just acupressure points then. And you're not puncturing them, you're just pressing them or holding them. And it changes everything when you really learn about energy. And I can appreciate somebody coming to this new, and this sounds like gobbledygook. But for those of us like me, when Western medicine really gave up on me and said I was on the path to dying, and I wasn't walking, and I couldn't breathe well, and my mouth all over, I got tetany all over my body, which is how everything just begins to buzz, and it felt like paralysis. And I was told I'd never walk again. Well, that was almost 40 years ago. And
Wow.
I just started working on myself, trying to figure out what would make maybe the energy across my thighs from my hips to my knees didn't work at all. So I couldn't walk. And so I just did laying on of hands on my thighs to see what would make them move, and what would make them work. And I went to 5 different specialists who said there was nothing more they could do. There was nothing that I had so much myelin sheath in my brain, it wouldn't be able to do what I wanted to do. And you can't build back the myelin sheath, which of course wasn't true. I mean, we can build things back with energy, because that was the first healing system, and our bodies just we gravitated to natural energy healing. And let's see, what else can I say? I can say that I love a skeptic, though. I love a skeptic, because when they come into one of my classes, and I always have them on my stage so I can give them something that they need, so that they can have the direct experience. And it's thrilling. It's just thrilling. And I think the whole world needs it now.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a choice, because we are living in a world that we didn't evolve to live in. You know, the world we live in now, every square inch of our atmosphere has man-made electromagnetic energies that our body has to contend with. I mean, that constantly challenges our own energy systems. And we wonder why we lose our energy, or we wonder why we're getting sick, or our body didn't evolve with all this unnatural stuff, with the microwave oven, as well good as that is. We didn't evolve with any of this. So what we have to do now is to teach our bodies how to adapt or throw off that which our body doesn't want to adapt to. And we can, and we are. I'm seeing it all around me for the last 40 years, seeing what people can do to help their body survive in the world that we are in and that we will go further in. And what I've also seen is that people age better if they start working with their energy and not what is unnatural, because what is unnatural sometimes can just be one more thing that the body has to adapt to or contend with. And it's, yes, there are places for medicine in our world, but not to be the first thing that we reach for. It really must be the last thing we reach for. And well, I've just gone on and on.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, I mean, I want to also dial into this kind of foundation that you've created, the hands-on healing and I would say that, to me, when I read your work and have practiced your work, I would call it like kind of a mix of tapping, acupressure, and hands-on healing mixed into one. And so and also, the meridians are a really important point because you talk about them being the pathways, the energetic pathways in the body, and it comes from also Chinese medicine. And so the tapping actually alerts the different organs and systems and emotional centers in our body. And so I thought that to me, that concept is so, fascinating. So I'm curious, how did you develop your body of work? And then, what are some of the most powerful methods that you've created for others to help people heal their bodies? Because your book is like a chock full of so much information on healing different energy systems and different meridians. Like I'm just so people are aware. I mean, there's like things like how to recover from jet lag, how to recover from insomnia, having some sort of emotional ailment. I mean, there's just so many. This book is just fascinating. It has a lot of visual representations, and it really just kind of helps you figure out what's happening in your body. And you can tap in any which way you want. So yeah, I know there was a lot of questions in there, so let me know if you'd like me to repeat them.
Thank you. Now, what's the question? How did it get all developed?
Yes.
The first thing I want to say is that I don't think anything that I thought that I figured, I figured things out, but I don't think anything is new under the sun. I think that it came through me because our ancestors did this, and that they figured out how to move energy. They figured out how to do an exercise that would shift something that was hurting you, or they figured it all out. And I think I just stepped into it. It was also true that I think that all babies born can see energy. But because we live in a culture that doesn't support it and doesn't keep it going, somewhere around 9 months to a year old, it just goes out the window. It goes dormant. And because there's so much a baby has to learn, that whatever isn't kept alive, it just doesn't stay. But what I've also found out is that in my classes, people who have studied with me for a long time, who never saw energy, many of them can see energy now. It's like it did just go dormant. It didn't disappear, and they learned how to turn it back on again. And so I was just incredibly curious. I never used energy for healing until I was told I wasn't going to get out of here alive, and I had 2 daughters to raise, and that was incentive. That was incredible incentive. So I stayed so curious. I think that's one of the biggest things that people could learn and take away is stay curious. Stay curious why something wasn't working, or what did I do to make that work? And that's how it all started. And I found I just slowly started getting my legs back. I'd also been incredibly allergic to everything. I was always just a little bit chubby. And people would say, well, if you just cut back on what you ate, but I didn't hardly eat anything. So I knew that the standard way of thinking about things, that if you just cut back on calories, you would lose weight. That just didn't work for me. And so I began to see that it had something to do with my energy systems. And one of my meridians, spleen meridian, governs how you metabolize food. And I didn't metabolize it. I didn't metabolize it at all. So I was very allergic. And so I began working with spleen meridian to help my allergies. And the amazing thing, I'll never forget, I hadn't eaten bread all my life because I was allergic to it. And I never had sandwiches. I'd never eaten anything. And I'll just to say that it may have been because in that first week of life, I was very ill. And they say that I may have, when I was 16, endocrinologist, who was one of the top endocrinologists in the world, said my body didn't have two enzymes. It could not possibly digest certain things. He said, don't eat vegetables and fruit. That's like poison in your body. And it was really true. It was, these things that are supposed to be so good for me, they made me sicker. So it was amazing the first time I had bread and the first time I could really eat vegetables. It was so heavenly. But before it was really, so that was part of the reason why I think I got MS. My body didn't metabolize things. So I started working on spleen meridian and making it strong. And I got over my allergies. And suddenly I could eat things I'd never been able to eat all my life. And it was so wonderful. But here again, it was my curiosity. Oh my gosh, if that worked, maybe this will work. And I just started. And then you find that your energies are very user friendly. Your body wants to heal. Your body really wants to heal, but you've got to get in alignment with how the energies flow. So, and when I got well, when I was really well, I was probably very inappropriate because I wanted to share it with everybody under the sun. Anybody who walked down the street, if I saw that something was wrong with their energies, I wanted to tell them what they could do for themselves. And the very first class, I taught a class. My very first class was for an entire weekend with anybody I could drag into that class, and it was for only $5. And so somebody said, you have to, you don't give it for free because they won't appreciate it. So I charged $5 for the whole weekend, but I figured that would give me space to make mistakes and everything and just try things out. And that was the beginning of everything. That was the beginning. And I should say one thing that I found, that things didn't work if your energies weren't flowing as they were meant to, if they were scrambled, or if you were in a state of being homolateral, which meant that your energy from your right hemisphere didn't cross over to the left side, and from the left side to the left hemisphere to the right side. If there wasn't that crossover pattern, sometimes exercises and techniques didn't work. So we had to get the energies crossing over. And every time anybody gets really stressed out, their energies don't cross over anymore. So they can't think as well, and they're a little bit more klutzy. So it just grew all by itself,
Amazing, Donna. Yeah. And I think, for people that want to learn more about the tapping techniques, and how to do some of the things that you've mentioned, they could check out your book. There's also a ton of videos online. So you could check out Donna Eden, and just look. There's like some basic things that you say people should be doing every single day. So like the crossover from the right and left. And I think I just want to set this up for our audience who might not be aware of the chakra system. So there's 7 chakras. And there's the root chakra, which we would say maybe is at the bottom of the spine. Second chakra, which is in your kind of close to your gonads, sexual organs. Third is the stomach area. The fourth is the heart. Fifth is the throat center. Sixth is the third eye, the top of your forehead. And then seventh is your crown, the top of your head. And so my question is, now that we've set up the 7 chakras and basically what people have found is that those chakras, and I think that the word chakra sometimes has a connotation that means something different, but essentially they're just the biggest power sources or energy centers in your body. And this year with quarantine and the coronavirus, I'm wondering which chakras or which energy centers have been the most affected that you have seen, and which chakras you think people should be kind of focused on and concerned about to keep themselves healthy.
Well, okay, I would say that in the third chakra, people who have gotten, involved in some of the conspiracy theories and not and dealing with what's true and what isn't true, that really shows up on people's third chakra, and it looks it looks very split in two, and it's you see a lot of loudness. It gets the colors, the energy looks loud. You can see geometrical shapes, and you can see people. There is nothing that flows smooth in the third chakra when people are getting fearful, and when they're wondering what's true and things like that. It's also there are so many organs in the third chakra that it's each organ can start getting into trouble physically when people have all of this stress going on in that chakra. So let's see, another chakra that, I mean, you certainly can, if somebody's immune system is off, you can see it in the first, second, third, really strong. And well, even in the fourth chakra, you can see it. But the first chakra dealing with survival issues, it's sometimes hard for me when I can go outside and walk on the street because you can see when somebody is really low immune system. And if somebody is starting to enjoy staying home and not going anywhere, you can see it in their second chakra and in their heart chakra, and even on their crown chakra, because they can find that they can channel in information, they can pray easier, they're liking their home, they like washing their floors, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know it's been good for me. It's been good for me because I've just never had the time to be able to fiddle with my garden and look at the trees and be out there. And it's wonderful to be forced to stay home.
Yeah. Donna, it's so interesting. I love talking to you because you're such a positive, just your energy is so positive. And I've seen that in all the videos that you've been on, like that your personality is just always this bundle of positivity. How do you stay so positive? I mean, is it the work that you do? Like, what does your typical morning look like? Like, how many times do you actually use your techniques on yourself throughout the day? Yeah.
I use them on myself whenever I feel them, whenever I know I have to have that exercise. Like my energy can scramble if I get stressed. So I will immediately go to something that I call the Wayne Cook posture. And it's a way to cross everything over, breathe in deep, and all your meridians hook up. And I'll do that before I ever get on a stage as well. But if I feel like in my house, maybe I've been sitting too long and even watching TV, I'll do that exercise, and suddenly I'll have the energy to go do something else or exercise or any of those things. Each day is a bit different, but I just love exploring my house and getting to know it. And, I mean, I've been on the road for so long, and we made the road our home. And hotel rooms are home. And gosh, I love this settling in, this earthing. I've gotten really in touch with the earth being at home. Like I'm looking out my windows right now, and oh, it takes my breath away. Trees take my breath away. And I think that I've gotten healthier being home because I'll walk among the trees. And I think that feeds us all. Did you ever see the movie let's see, Fantastic Fungi?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did pretty recently, actually. Yeah.
well, I, well, I think the way that the trees do that underground and hook each other up and feed each other, I think as we walk, I can see the energy connections between humans and trees. And I think we need the trees just like we need each other and ourselves. And so I'm really happy to be home.
Wow. Wow. So it's so nice to hear that. um, Donna, so you said that you could actually see the subtle energy on a person and see their auric fields. And I think this is a concept that, it's definitely not mainstream. I know a lot of people, in the community of intuition medicine who have either, had this gift all their life or remembered this gift later in life where they could actually see energy on the human body. And, I would say that even with my senses, I can feel it. I can sense and feel people's emotional world even before they feel it, and sometimes it scares them. you know um, which I used to think was a curse, and now I think it's very much a blessing, but now I know how to manage it, right? um, the so I'm curious, like, so can you see this all the time on people, or are there certain times when it shows up more so than others? Yeah, so I'm just curious, like, what that looks like for you, because and maybe you could explain it to people, because I think it's something that I think is popular amongst our circles, and there's also hospitals that bring in medical intuitives who are able to scan the human body. Yeah. So
Yes. I'm gonna take you back to. I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay.
okay.
When I was really little, and again, my mother kept this alive, so it was just so natural. My growing up years, it was the most natural thing in the world. It wasn't something like, oh my God, I can see energy. No, it wasn't that way. And I was 20 before I found out that the whole world didn't see energy. I had no idea. My first husband wanted to put me away in a mental hospital because he said that was impossible and you cannot ever speak of that again. And you might guess that we were kind of doomed from the beginning, the two of us. but it really helped me, for instance, to know that he's a yellow life color, which means the furthest band out in the aura. We all have different colors, and a yellow gets so logical and caught in their logic, and it helped me to realize that about him. But going back, before that, when I was a really little girl, and I mean, I couldn't talk yet, and I could just barely sit. And my mother had put me on my porch, and I was leaned up against the screen door, but I was on the porch and I could sit there steady. So I don't know how old that made me, but I was very young. And on the house next to us, there was a little boy named Sammy Hinka. And he was sitting, but he was older. He was about 5. And I really liked him. And I was sitting there watching his energy. And I thought he was beautiful. But I had a tendency to see more of the energy than the physical. And I was just really transfixed. And then suddenly there were these 3 little girls that were about 5 years old, 6 years old, walking down the street. And when they got near Sammy, they said, "We don't like you, Sammy Hinka." And I watched his aura just crush in on him. And it was just shocking. And I didn't know, because I didn't know they couldn't see his energy. I didn't know why anybody would say anything like that would harm another person. And and I just was trying really hard as a baby, trying to puff his energy out for him, and protect him. And so it was all these years since, I think that my life has been about helping people. I mean, even before I worked in the healing arts, but just, I would never ever consider hurting anybody because of what it does to their energy and the harm it does, and then how the chakras collect stuff. If you don't work it out, your chakras, oh, collect it, and it's in there, and your old sorrows and old pain, and so what was the question now? You asked me.
Oh, I just asked, if you could see, if you like how it affects you when you are able to see people's
Oh,
auric fields and energies. And
yes,
yeah. And
yes. Well, there are two answers I would say. One is that, I mean, I've really had to work with myself not to, grab anybody off the street. Because if you see it, it can be debilitating not to at least tell them or help them or do something. So I never had good boundaries because of that.
yeah.
I really wanted to help everybody. And so, but now my joy is helping people know how to do it for themselves. And I have a big enough audiences that I can just do that and not have to do it on the street. but I can. I can do this as I walk down the street, and if I see somebody who has something like a cancer or heart disease and they don't even know it, I can give them energy, and it doesn't come from me. I've really learned how to move it through me and just give them the best energy if I can.
Amazing. Donna, a question for you. Can you see my energy even though we're not physically connected?
Well, what I can see, I mean, because we're not physically connected, it's not as good, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But I can see, I believe you're a double life color. And the life color is the color out in the aura that is the furthest band out. And it's the color that you will have all your life, whereas the other colors in your aura will change depending on what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you're going through in your life color, that it will always stay. And I believe it may be strong in another part of your aura if it's not there, but I think it's your life color. I believe you're double life color, and I believe you're violet and kind of a rosy blue. That's what I think. And violet life colors are here. They and let me see. I'll tell you something basic about a violet. Violets are on a quest to really, it's a spiritual journey, and they really must do themselves this time around, and not everybody else. And I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they, and because this is the journey to really, a journey about power, but it's not power over, but power with, or power, from on high, and so violet seems to be your strongest, but that other color is very, very loving. It's a kind of a rosy blue, and it comes from your heart and your feelings, and you care. And I'll tell you something really interesting. I don't know anything about you, but violets often don't have children, but blues always do. No, that's a real split. And the rose makes the blue different. I mean, if you don't have children as the blue part, you would mother others, or you would mother animals, or you would mother something, or you would. But the violet doesn't do that. The violet knows that the highest journey is to empower somebody else to do this for themselves. And I have known violets who've had children, not many, but those who do, they are they are they really want to teach their kids. Or
Mm.
does any of that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's so funny. That's
Okay.
yeah. It's interesting because there are some points in my life where I have thought, yeah, maybe I do want to have a family, and then others where I'm like, no, I think my mission in life is not dependent on whether I have a family, and so
Yeah.
I do feel
Violet,
that. Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Violet is, I'm glad you said that. But you're going to, well, it's just going to be interesting to see how, I mean, violets don't have to have a family. They don't have to do it because what they have to do is fulfill a certain spiritual journey. How's that? Is
Mm.
That's what they are meant to do. But because you're a double life color, I don't know how that's going to play out in your life. Maybe when you feel fulfilled on this other journey, you will find that children come in another way, or a family comes in another way. It's like my husband is a violet, straight violet life color. And what did he do? He married me with two children. You don't know how it'll happen. But the first, I would say it's only been in the last 15 years that he moved into that father place.
Mm.
He at all. No, it wasn't it. He didn't care about having kids, nothing. And now, boy, what a great grandfather he is. He's a fabulous grandfather, but he could have never done kids.
Oh my gosh, that's a riot. I'm so fascinated by that. And the rosy blue is, you said, just a heart feeling.
Rosy blue is, well, the blues always have children. And so the fact that it's a rosy blue. Now, rose is, it's loving. It's loving. And rose, you can often see it around in your heart chakra too. And, but they often need to love themselves.
Mm.
And, and just keep saying yes to yourself. It doesn't mean that you necessarily mean you're hard on yourself. It might. I don't know. I'd have to see you. But rose is an old-fashioned color. It's an old-fashioned color. It's like everything else around you is about today and the future. Blue is about, okay, violet is more about now and the future. Blue is really being in the now and being in the now. And rose is your past, is something in the past. Maybe, and I don't know if that's somebody who has influenced you long ago, or whether that's just come in when you were born, that's an energy that you are imprinted with.
So fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So interesting. Well, I have more questions about that, but I'll pull it. I want to pull us back into some of the
Okay.
other. Yeah, I'm like, this is for the audience, so not for me, but I'm very interested. And by the way, if you want to actually get a reading with one of Donna Eden's coaches, there's like several thousand all over the world that we'll leave in the show notes. So you guys can get access to this, and someone can give you.
Yes, and if they just want a reading on colors, I would say my daughter is the best reader in the world.
Oh wow! And how can we find your daughter?
Uh, let's see. Oh my God, I think it's Titania. Go to my website and you'll find her there.
Okay.
I think she's Titania at innersource.net. I'm not sure because I never have to do it. I just click a button. Oh no, but she's really good. In fact, last weekend she did a whole weekend online of just on the life color, on how to what it's about and how to see it and how to all of that.
That's amazing.
So
Well,
her name is Titania Dolan. You can probably go online and just put her name in and you'll start finding it.
Titania Dolan. Okay, great. And Donna, can you tell us about you? So you wrote a book with your husband, David Feinstein. Am I pronouncing that correctly? David
Feinstein.
Feinstein. David Feinstein, called "The Energies of Love." So I would love for you to set us up with the different sensory styles. I thought that was super interesting. In terms of my own relationship, I really I've been thinking deeply about this, but we all have different sensory styles. And in the book, you talk about the visual, the kinesthetic, and the digital style. I believe those are the top three. And so can you tell us about each of those styles and also why partners often attract different styles?
Oh, yes. I think that was God's joke. That in order to grow, we have to connect deeply with somebody else that pushes all of our buttons so that we can grow through those button pushers. But yes, we all have different sensory systems and our sensory styles. It means that when you get very, very stressed out, you will, all of your senses will go out the window. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this. People, when I was a little girl, I'd hear people say, oh, she lost all her senses, or
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you really do. You lose all of your senses but one. And that's why you cannot possibly be on the same wavelength as your partner, because your partner is probably somebody opposite you. And so you cannot hear what they're saying or see what they mean or feel what they're feeling or think what they're thinking. You can't get it. And because it's all on energy. It's about energy. Your sensory systems are energy. So okay, I'll explain them. So a visual, now it's usually your best one in life too. It's your best one, but under stress, it fools you because now you can't access anything but that system. When you're not stressed, you can access other systems, but it won't be as strong as your primary one, but you can access it. Under deep stress, you can't. So I will say a visual. Under stress, can see precisely what you're doing wrong. They don't see themselves. They see you. They see out of their eyes. They see out of their body, and they do not think that they are saying anything harmful. They just so want you to see what you need to see. You need to be able to follow their direction because this will make your life better. They want you to I mean, yeah. And if you've ever been looked at by a visual when they're stressed out, it is horrible.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they look you straight in the eyes, and I being a kinesthetic, I'd lose all my words, and I couldn't possibly know if I was the one that did this or if I did that. I couldn't tell you. I would freeze. So that fight, flight, or freeze, I would go into freeze. But visual, yeah.
So Donna,
yes.
So just so the visual is someone who, when they're in a argument with someone or they're stressed out, they look directly at you, and it's kind of like direct in your eyes, and the energy almost like flows straight to. I would say I'm a visual. Like when I get upset, I'm like very much like target. I'm gonna look you straight in the eye and challenge you. And so it's interesting. And so oftentimes would you say like visuals end up dating kinesthetics or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Or a tonals. See, I have the feeling you're secondary tonal. I'm not sure. Just listening to you, tonal.
Yeah. So maybe we could talk about kinesthetic and tonal and what those differences are in styles.
Okay. So tonals hear between the lines. They hear not necessarily what you actually said, but they hear something else. They hear what you meant to say. They hear yeah. And they pick up the vibe. And in normal life, they have wonderful sense of hearing. And for myself, I would probably go to a tonal as a therapist It's a great way to pick which therapist you should have is the one that, that can really hear you. And tonals can hear between the lines. They pick up that vibe. And, but other people may say, if you're in a relationship with a tonal, the visual might say, I didn't say that. Oh, no, tonal, the tonal will say, no, the visual will say, well, all the other types might say, I never said that. I didn't say that. And the tone will be absolutely sure you did. So, okay, so a tonal, it's through their ears, but it's also just all the vibrations around their ears. They pick up the nuances, and so it's so much more than just what somebody is saying or not saying. And one of the things about a tonal is they will often leave a relationship because they are so sure that they have been judged badly and that you would leave anyway, so that they may as well leave first. So, a kinesthetic is me, and I'm a feeler. I feel everything. And this is interesting. I'm secondarily visual, but I'm first kinesthetic. So that means that even though I see energy, whatever I feel, I trust more than what I'm seeing. And I do. I really, I feel everything. And when I get very stressed out, I can lose all my words. And so it's really hard to be with a visual. It's just next to impossible. And they think that you're just a babbling idiot. And so what I learned long ago, that for me to come back to myself, I can't look at you at all. If I'm stressed out, if I want to remember what I'm trying to say or what I need, I have to look straight down my body. And it's like coming back to myself. If I'm looking at you, you probably shouldn't trust me because I'm seeing what you need, not what I need. And I will go with whatever it is you want. And so,
so Donna, if you're a feeler, then you basically like kind of detach from your body when someone's, confronting you visually. And so the way to kind of remedy that is to come back into your body, to look down. You said to look down, to like remember.
Look down, and a tonal will look down and to the side. A kinesthetic will look straight down.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
To try to be self. And okay, a digital is my husband. He goes up into his head, and he actually gets more articulate in an argument. It's like, this is the most frustrating thing. Nobody gave us a chance in hell of surviving together originally because and neither did we, because he was this digital, who was, I am right. He was a digital first and a visual secondary. So his whole stance was, I'm right as a digital and you're wrong as a visual. And so, oh my God, it was such a locked in thing. And so, but as a kinesthetic, I'm a feeler, and I have to look straight down and then find myself. And therapy didn't work very well years ago when I tried to get therapy, because I actually had two therapists who were visual who said to me, "Oh, you really give your power away to men, don't you? You can't look at me in the eye." And it was just so, but I eventually found a tonal woman who would get me.
Amazing. Wow. And wow, I wish there was ways we could figure that out, when we're looking for different folks. Cause I think it's,
it's a great class to take. That one is a great class. I think I've been thinking about putting that one online because it's so valuable to grasp this. It will change, who, and you will not feel judgmental about the other, because you say, "Oh my God, well, of course, he's trying. That man who is being visual at me right now is trying to give me his precious gift of, if I could just see the way here."
That's so.
That's how that,
So fascinating. I think I'm actually more like David. Like I do the digital and the visual, and maybe some.
You don't sound like a visual. You so you think you're more digital. Ah,
Yeah.
could you be digital tonal?
Yeah, probably. That could be it.
Yeah.
So I could
I
get up
think
in my
that's a
head.
good combo actually. Except that digitals, you disconnect.
Mm.
You'll do you disconnect?
Yeah, I think I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Right. Yeah.
Here's what I see. That's so funny. And so obviously, this has helped your relationship a lot because you've gone on to write this book, The Energies of Love, with your husband. You teach courses with him. I would, say just watching the two of you, on videos and even just the brief interaction we've had together with David. It's just I love your relationship, and I think it's
May I say, I'm going to butt in. Can
yeah,
I
yeah, of
say,
course.
because it'll make me cry, but all the ways that we were utterly and completely incompatible are the ways we are totally compatible now. Oh my God, I am so lucky. I'm so glad I didn't leave him when I should have. I'm just so
Mm,
glad about that because it looked like I should leave. But
mm,
oh my God, we weathered every storm, and we are, and so we both can grow now. If you're lucky enough to be able to do it with a different type than you, then life gets so rich because it's also taught me those ways of being inside. Like somebody like me who I had no boundaries. I had no
mm,
boundaries in my
mm.
life. And it's not because he's taught me. It's because I just can get into that rhythm with him.
Yeah.
And it's just heaven. It's heaven.
Oh, amazing. I love hearing that from a couple. Oh, beautiful. Donna, what do you want to tell our listeners about their health and wellness? What's sort of like your main takeaway? By the way, I feel like I could talk to you for hours and hours about so many different topics from relationship and yeah.
That's why I think you have tonal in there because it's very easy for a kinesthetic and a tonal because you do have that sense of, I don't have to have perfect words for you.
Yeah, I get it. It's I'm intuitively feeling what you're saying.
Intuitively feeling, that's right. It's really wonderful. So what do I would like to say? I'd like to say that we were all born with this ability to heal ourselves and to speak the language our body speaks, which is
Mm,
energy. And and I so want everyone to know they can be more empowered, and it's thrilling. It is thrilling to know how to do this. And if you do have children, your children can learn it from the very beginning. It should be in all kindergarten classes. From the beginning, children should be taught uh, about their energy so that they can take away their own headaches, their own tummy aches. They should be able to read that, oh, I'm feeling this, or oh, I want, and what that might mean, and just all the things that are
mm,
so wonderful, and that everybody across the world can speak energy. And I mean, I've traveled the world not knowing the language of people. I can talk the language of energy, and it's really an empowering thing for the world. I think that the world just might be saved with energy medicine. And I think that everybody in government should know how to
mm.
move their own energy and take away their stress before they get online with somebody from another country and get mad, and not understand. And they should understand their sensory system. And, my youngest daughter, has put out a book on the five elements, a little tiny book you can carry on an airplane, and it's really good. It's so simple on the five elements, and just these languages of energy. And you will like growing older. How's that? You will like growing older because, I mean, it's wonderful to know that things will always happen to us, I suppose, but it is not a negative if you know what to do about that. If you know how to heal yourself and get better. And I mean, it's really, really good. It makes life better and better and better. And I like life best at this age. And I'm now 77.
Oh my gosh. You just blew my mind.
I love it. I love it. I can, if I do lose my energy, get tired, I know how to get my energy back. I know how to do things with my energies. And it's really worth learning. I mean, it's so worth it. That's what I have to say.
I wish, by the way, our guests could see how young you look, because I, have you on video right now. And Donna, by the way, is 77, who looks like she just turned 50. So, I mean, clearly this is working for you. And wow.
It is working. It is working. And it makes me cry when I think that I was supposed to check out around 29 because I was so sick. I even had a heart attack at 29. Wow. I am so much healthier now than I was when I was young. And I'm still learning things. If something happens to my body or my psyche, I'm so curious. Whoa, what can I do here for this? And it's just good. Do you mean I could have been watching you this whole time?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were looking at me.
Yeah, the video's on. It's been great for me. Donna, are there any resources that you can point folks to so that they can learn more about you and your work? I know that we'll obviously include the links in our show notes.
And are the links like our website and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have the www.learnenergymedicine.com. I'm sure people can also find you by just Googling Donna Eden, Eden.
Well, what I want you to know, we have so much free stuff on our site. I mean, so much. You can go up to the top of the page and you'll see all of these different things, whether you're interested in a class, you're interested in some of the products. We have free, here's something that they ought to do. Not ought to, but it's a good thing to do. Every single Wednesday, my daughters and I, one of us, two of us, or all three of us, will put out an energy minute. And you can go into the the Wednesday Energy Minute. You can find that online and you'll learn a different thing every single Wednesday that's under a minute, and we'll tell you exactly what it's for. And that's a great way to learn. It's so simple. And there's lots of things on the YouTube channels. And you can learn the daily energy routine. You can learn so much online. And this is what a perfect time to get all the information.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Donna. And also check out your daughter's work, Tatiana Dolan, and the 5 Elements book that you recommended as well.
Donna Dolan for the 5 Elements, and Titania for, her book isn't quite out yet, but she sure has a lot of online videos and things. Oh, and she teaches, what is it? She teaches the toddler tips. Because she has a 3-year-old, and she and he once a week teach different things for toddlers.
That's amazing. I love that. Toddler tips. Donna, thank you so much for your time. You are just such a joy and a pleasure to listen to, and just so inspirational.
Well, you are wonderful. Thank you. You're so you're a great interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm going to have to find you online or something. I want to see what you look like.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Let's connect for sure. For our audience, thanks for joining and for listening. In this episode, we learned about energy medicine and how to use your body's health to achieve optimum health and wellness. You can tune in to Gateways to Awakening, where we host one-on-one conversations with leading experts in wellness and spirituality. Thanks again.